I've just entered some public land and I'm going to be hunting wild goats with my compound bow. So I hope you enjoy. I'm just grabbing some water before I start hunting. I encountered a fisherman on the way in. He's walked the track down and seen quite a few goats. The public land is adjacent to private land and there's a river in between, so I need to find some goats in the river or near the river or in the forest on this side of the river. So normally I'm reasonably successful here, so he said there was plenty around, so hopefully we find a few, and a few on the right side of the river. Well, let's go. I'm just slowly stalking along a forest track. It's very thick here, as you can see, but there's some openings, and then there's a river down there, and there's normally tons of goats here. The wind is in my favor, but unfortunately that fisherman just walked through here, so I don't know if it's really too much, but I think I heard some up ahead, but it's probably on the private land on the other side. But we'll keep an eye out. As I suspected, there on the farmland on the other side, there's that one, and I can hear a few others as well. Damn. Need to find some on this side. I'm trying a slightly different strategy than usual. Normally I just pretty much saunter along the track, and you can often spot the goats from the track. But that fisherman, I'm still following his fresh tracks from this morning in and out. So I don't know if that's a good idea. There's probably going to be nothing near the track then. So I'm wondering if I should come down to the river and scoot along the edge of the river. Although it's not very good terrain, not very easy terrain. So I don't know. Or do I just speed walk till I bump into something, because that often works as well. But then you're more likely to spook them if that happens. So anyway, I should be around the river flats now. They like to come out and bask themselves. That's the river there. I haven't seen any goats, to be honest. Not yet. Saw one further back, but that's been it. I've been walking for ages now, and I've just heard a goat. Finally, after not seeing or hearing anything. But it sounded a little bit far off. Anyway, I'll slow down from here, and it's usually a good area here. Definitely just had a goat in that direction. I suspect they're on the other side, but there might be some on this side as well. Okay, I can hear the goats, but I think they're on the other side. Although I have shot some on this side in this bit next to the river. A few actually. Oh, there's a skull. Stumbled upon a few goats. They haven't super spooked. I'll see if I can get close enough. They're snorting at me. They have seen me though. I'll see what I can do. Super run away, so I'm going to pursue them a little bit and see if I can get close enough for a shot with them. bolted now. Well, that could have been close. I just messed around with the camera setup too long. That would have given me opportunity, but I was trying to set up the camera and stuff. So I was a bit late, and then they spotted me, and the wind isn't great either. Anyway, such is life. See if I can find more. Well, I've reached my turnaround point. Starting to make my way back. Still got a fair bit of way to walk back. And I seem to have reasonable luck seeing goats on the way back, but normally, but let's see. I don't know with that fisherman having walked up this morning and then down again, and the wind's very swirly. Not looking that good, not seeing a lot of so many goats on the other side anyway, so might be bust this one, but we'll see. Okay, just got a goat. Spurred front on, but I think I got it alright. I'll review the footage. I was just walking back and just bolted off the track and stopped. It looks like it's about, I don't know, 20 yards. I didn't even range it, so probably maybe even less than 20 yards, so it should be fine with the top pin, and it's a solid hit. So just give it a few minutes and wait and see what happens. Well, it's always nerve-wracking after you've made the shot. Better wait, because one of the biggest mistakes I've made repeatedly is not waiting long enough. So I'm going to make a coffee, relax, and then go and look. I've made the mistake before and bumped goats and then bumped them and lost them because of that. So yeah, let's see what happens. These things boil fast, man. Okay, coffee's done. Now the coffee's too hot to drink. I'll show you my bow and arrow setup. It's a Mancung Thorns. I have got a Hamsky primer rest on there, and that is a, what is the brand? Trophy Ridge sight with it's a try something with a sliding adjustment, which I never use that much. And the arrows are interesting. I have got Temu arrows. These are 300 spine, 9.1 grains per inch arrows that I have built myself, and it's got like 100 grain inserts, 100 grain points, and lighted nocks. And this is my test setup for heavy arrows. I have been shooting with light arrows or 400 grain arrows overall before. I think these are like 580 or something, so I'm up to 66 pounds, so I don't know, I'll see if that goat died or not. I've gone through all sorts of broadheads, currently trying, these are Grim Reaper Micro Hades Pro or something like that. Let's see how that goes. This is 100 grain ones. It's my first arrow build, so I took a little bit of tuning and finally knock-tuned them and got them, the broadhead shooting alright with the field points up to 30 yards, so that shot looked reasonably good, I think, so we'll see. I hope it wasn't more front on than I thought. It's hard sometimes to see a black goat in the dark shadows, but my eyes aren't as good as they used to be anyway. I can just see on the slow-mo and the GoPro that it hit, and I heard it hit solidly and it looked like it hit where I wanted it to hit, so hopefully it all went well. I cannot zoom in on the footage on my GoPro, so I don't really know. We'll see. Okay, time to go look for the arrow. Let's see. Goat was just up there. So I'll see by that log. Jump up. Hopefully the arrow was a full pass through. Yep, lighted knock, full pass through. But definitely it went through the guts, but I don't know if it went through from the front all the way through the guts or not. We'll have a look, see what blood we can find. That's why I love lighted knocks. Okay, unfortunately all I smell and see is guts, but I don't know if that's where it came out rather than where it went in. There's different guts that came out. There's blood as well, a little bit there. Okay, there's some red blood there too, which is promising. Okay, just bed it pretty close. Just gonna give it a follow-up shot. That hit bone, but that's it. Okay, so the follow-up shot got him. That's the spine dim as well as lung and stuff. Young belly, I think, is it? Spine, neck and lungs, I think. Actually very hard to work out which shot hit where. But I need to hurry up and get this meat sorted. Because it's going to get dark and I have still got quite a way to walk back. So let's get the knife out and stuff. Well, I'm finally getting to use the HGK6 hunting knife from Beavercraft for hunting. I've done an unboxing on this if you want to check it out. Really nice carbon steel knife. Pretty sharp by the look of it, but we'll see now how it goes. Only $58 US. Comes in a beautiful leather sheath, so let's see if I can get this goat processed. Well, we don't have much time, so all I'm going to be doing is taking the back legs and the back steaks out, and that's pretty much it, and the front legs as well. That's the plan. I might see, I've never done a boiled skull, so I might consider doing the head just out of interest for doing a boiled skull, but we'll see if I have time. Yeah, there's one front leg removed, and there's a back leg. Getting a bit, no, it's a bit lighter on the track. It was getting a bit dark in the forest there. It is getting late though. I have quite a way to walk still, and so I'll see if we see something else on the way. Be pushing it to shoot another one, but if it's a nice belly or something, I might consider it. We'll see. Anyway, that was very good to get that one. And the end on the way back. So it's happened a few times to me. And they just bumped off the side of the track and ran up, stopped, looked back. I didn't think it really saw me initially, and then it was looking at me sort of, I guess, 3/4 so I never saw exactly where that first shot went in, but there was a hole in the shoulder, the one shoulder, and a hole in the guts on the other side, so it looks like it went in that way, but maybe a little bit far back and didn't get enough lung. But anyway, it bedded pretty close and that second shot got it, so yeah, good result. A bit more of a walk than I expected, but normally I see a few more. But anyway, hopefully. Just driving home, and there's a big mob of wild goats next to the road. Pretty cool. Looks like there's a very nice belly in amongst them. And another lot. They were actually in the road. Funny. Well, it's a couple of days later. I'm ready to process the meat and I'm going to be cooking some goat curry. So that's the meat ready to be processed. I've done some dry aging and we'll see how that comes out. I didn't end up keeping as much of the meat as I was planning because some of it was tainted by that gut shot. So I ended up only keeping a couple of legs and the back steaks. So, but I did keep the head, and I am boiling the skull now to try and test how to do a European mount. I want to learn how to do that in case I eventually shoot a nice deer at some stage. I struggled to get the skin off around the skull though, so we'll see how it all cleans up. I'm going with the low and slow method and see if that works, and yeah, see how it turns out. I also spent some time cleaning up the arrows from the trip. I broke the second arrow. I broke the nock, the lighted nock, because that hit the shoulder and went through the neck and hit quite a lot of bone in that follow-up shot. And then when it jumped, it seemed to have broken off the or it bent the lighted nock. And interestingly enough, that one, the blood cleaned up fine, but the first shot that had gone for the guts, that completely stained the fletchings, which is interesting. While the rest of the arrow is fine. So yeah, this is interesting for a first build. I just wanted to build with cheap arrows to see how it all works, and before I spend a lot of money on arrows and spend all this money and mess it up. So my first fletching jobs weren't that great, but eventually I got better at it. So yeah, so these seem to be reasonable. So I don't know if I've noticed any particular difference with the heavy arrows versus normal arrows, but I mean that second shot did go through a lot of bone. So yeah, anyway. Okay, so I've boiled the skull and I have done a bit of cleaning on it. There's still a bit of material in there and stuff, but I really don't have time to deal with all of that. I have to go back to Auckland. So what I'm just going to do is the little bits that are left, a little bit of brain and nasal stuff, I am just going to let it be and see what nature does to it. I'll just leave it somewhere maybe here and let nature do its job. And then later on I'll see if it does need maybe a little bit of bleaching. I think those need to be glued. I probably boiled it a little bit long, but I learned lots through the process. So yeah, I learned lots through the process. So hopefully when I finally get a deer skull, a nice stag, let's get ready to make that curry. I'm going to prepare the back steaks for this. Actually, this should be nice and tender. I'm just going to be trimming it up and cutting it into cubes pretty much. So what I did is I removed the silver skin on the back and then just trimmed up any nasty pieces and then cut it into chunks. And now for goat meat, I have something interesting I do that I learned off a friend's channel. He's a food scientist, and you can add milk to help tenderize and remove the wild taste. Something in the proteins in the milk does bits and pieces. I remember when I was little we used to use buttermilk for the same reason, and yeah, I'm going to be using a bit of milk, putting it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then come back and make my curry. Okay, just chop some veggies for curry, onion, tomato, and instead of garlic and ginger we're going to be using a garlic and ginger paste. So the garlic, ginger, onion and tomato plus our spices are going to make our paste that we're going to be making the base for the curry. Okay, I'm going to start making my curry paste now. I add a good dollop of oil. I want everything to fry. I like quite a bit of oil. Some people don't like so much oil. While I'm waiting for that to get hot, I'll show you. I keep it simple. I'm just going to be using this curry powder. This is Kingham's meat curry powder. It's pretty much got everything you need in it. If you are just making a simple curry, you can just use curry powder. It's pretty much got all the ingredients in it. If you want to read on it, what it is all in there, rather than mixing all the spices individually. Onion in there. I'm going to brown it. Waiting for it to get translucent and soft. Don't have a extractor fan here, so just open the windows and the doors. So before the onions brown, just when they're translucent and soft, I'm going to be adding my curry powder. Now I just guess. For me, like I'm on a couple of tablespoons. You have to sort of figure out how much you want to put. There we go. Enough for me. Now I'm going to fry this, and you'll see it dries up. The idea is you want to fry the curry powder. The spices and everything gets fried. You don't want to overdo it. So now, once it's fried like that, I will add my tomatoes to start adding a bit of liquid. I might add a little bit of pepper as well. And I'm going to add my garlic paste, a teaspoon of garlic paste, and a teaspoon of ginger paste, so half a teaspoon of ginger paste. Fry everything. You don't want to overdo the garlic frying as well, and get that in there. Fry it, and then I want to add my tomatoes. Fry that. I'm trying to render this down a bit, get the liquid out of the tomatoes. I don't really have a lid that fits on this, so I'll just fry this down a bit. I might cover it for a bit and simmer it. Just fry everything to a paste. Okay, well I've got this handy lid thing which fits on anything, so that should work. Then let that fry for. So the meat's been in the fridge for a while. Now all I'm going to do is pour the excess milk off. And that should have softened it quite a bit now and taken all the goat smell away. Yep, tenderized it a bit. And I leave a little bit of milk in there because it helps sort of make the curry a bit creamy. So that's nicely fried now. You can see the oil is coming out. Everything's liquefied, kind of turning into a paste. Well, I'm just going to fry the meat a little bit with this. I won't really brown it, but it just sort of, I don't know, I feel it seals the spices through this. And then I want to transfer it to that pot, and ideally you want a bit of stock to add. I don't know if I have any stock, and then we're going to have to cook the meat so it's tender, because I do not have a pressure cooker, and that's when I'm going to add my potatoes and the juicy stuff as well. Okay, add that, and you'll see the milk will make things a little bit creamy. Try quite light. Add a little bit of liquid. I'm just trying to sort of mix it in and seal the spices around it. So I'm just going to let that simmer away now for at least about 20 minutes. Then after about 20 minutes I'll add the potatoes and the capsicum slash chili thingy that I've got. It's supposed to be a capsicum, I'm not sure if it's more like a chili thing. I'll add these and let that cook for another 20 minutes while I also make the rice, which will be basmati rice. And at least 40 minutes for the meat to be tender, even though this is backstrap. Ideally an hour probably, slow simmered to get it really tender, or a pressure cooker. Oh, and don't forget salt to taste. You really have to keep an eye on the liquid levels and how fast you're simmering it. obviously it will burn if you run out of water. So if you don't have stock like I do, you either need to use a lot of tomatoes or some vegetables with a lot of liquid in them. That will generate some liquid, and if you're going to cook it for a long time, it's tricky to keep it, not make it like a soppy runny stew, and I still end up with a nice curry. But this is probably going to end up being a bit more runny because I only had the 2 little tomatoes, and we'll see. I might cook it down a little bit, reduce it a bit by the time we get there, and with the potatoes and stuff in there as well. So, but yeah, it's a very simple curry. It's nothing fancy. I am not a chef or anything like that at all, obviously, if it's not clear. But you know, I've learned a thing or two from my wife, and her family. So hopefully this turns out all right. Don't make too much of an idiot of myself. Okay, just gonna add the potato capsicum stuff. It's all covered, and then another 20 or 30 minutes. Right, so the rice is going to go in the rice cooker. Basmati rice goes well with curry. I've guesstimate a couple of cups. I've got a friend coming over later as well, so we might need some. Wash the rice 3 to 5 times. Get all the starch off. Here's the most difficult part of rice in a rice cooker, adding the right amount of water. There we go, cover it, and a little bit more, a little bit more to the fist. I go about halfway up my finger, cover it, and a little bit halfway up my finger. I don't go all the way to the first section. My finger seems a bit long, but yeah, the sort of rule is to the first section, and that's it. Stick it in there, press the button, perfect rice every time. Okay, we're nearly there. Rice is done, perfectly fluffy, and should be nice. And then we'll go to the curry. Okay, potatoes are cooked, curry's looking good, should be nice. It's not too runny, it's alright, meat is tender, and yeah, I've got a friend coming over to go and eat this, but I'll do a little test batch and see how it goes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm certainly going to enjoy this goat curry, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is going to be a bit hot. That's good. Very nice. Like it.